Throughout the years, LEGO has released many themes, which means, of course, not all of them have been successes. Three recent examples that come to mind are Chima, Nexo Knights, and Hidden Side. So in this video, I'm going to be comparing all three of these themes and giving them a score out of 10 based on two categories, the TV show and the sets. So let's get right into it. In case you missed my first video where I compared Ninjago, Monkey Kid, and Dreams, that is up on the channel, so if that's something you'd be interested in, make sure to go check that video out. But yeah, let's get right into it. Starting off with the TV show, first up we have Chima. And not gonna lie, Chima is pretty good. Now, by no means is it a perfect show, and it definitely has its stumbles here and there, but not gonna lie, just the premise of talking animals with Chi fighting each other is just such a cool premise that had me hooked from day one. And I think that Chima does get a lot of hate just because it was supposed to replace Ninjago, so that left a sour taste in many Ninjago fans' mouths. But yeah, in my opinion, Chima is not bad. Again, like I said, it does have a lot of flaws, especially in seasons 2 and 3, and in my opinion, none of the characters are really particularly interesting, but just the adventure aspect of Chima and getting to learn about all of these new animals and all of their powers was just so cool. It is definitely aimed more towards children, but I mean, I really liked it, so I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Again, it's not amazing, but it's pretty good. Next up, we have Nexo Knights, and in my opinion, Nexo Knights was not a very good TV show. I found the overall story to just be really boring. So boring, in fact, that I literally forgot the main character's name a couple of days after I finished watching the TV show. Not just that, though, I felt that none of the characters were really interesting the same way they were in successful TV shows like Ninjago or even Monkey Kid. And again, like I said, the overall story was not all that interesting, which is why me and a lot of other fans dropped out of the show after just watching a couple of episodes. I'm going to give Nexo Knights a 5 out of 10. Next up, we have Hidden Side, and Hidden Side I think had a lot of potential, maybe even more potential than like Nexo Knights or Chima. Just because it's like a high school drama with like lots of scary and horror elements, and I think that appealed to a really wide audience, and which is also why the initial couple of episodes got a lot of traction. But I think after that, they didn't really have a plan of what they were going to do with this theme moving forward. So the story just started rapidly declining. Again, none of the characters were really interesting. I still don't know the main character's name despite watching a couple of the episodes. And just in general, I think that the start was pretty strong, but the show definitely declined a lot later on. So I'm going to be giving Hidden Side a 5.5 out of 10. So that just about ends it for my talk about the TV shows. This is where we are so far in the standings. But now it's time to get right into the sets. And I think this is going to be a whole lot better because some of these themes genuinely did have some fantastic sets. Starting off with Chima, which I think is the best example of this. I don't know if many of you know this, but Chima was one of the first themes which I actually started collecting as a kid, just because the sets were so creative and unique. Not saying that other themes aren't creative and unique, but Chima took it to a whole nother level with its sets. I mean, we got crocodile cars, eagle ships, lion cars, and just as a concept, these were so cool. And I remember these being some of my favorite sets back when I was a kid. And just for that, I absolutely love this theme. Now, comparing it to modern standards because it was canceled like 9 years ago, it's not that great. The sets aren't like fantastic or anything, but I think that they were just so cool, unique, and fun, and really pushed the bar so much for LEGO. I'm gonna be giving Chima a solid 8 out of 10 in the sets regard. Alright, the next theme that we have to talk about now is Nexo Knights, and honestly, I'm really conflicted on Nexo Knights because some of the sets are genuinely really good, but others just look too blocky and I don't really love them. I never actually bought any of the Nexo Knight sets because again I didn't really find them super interesting, but I have to admit that some of them are pretty good. Overall, just because I'm kind of conflicted on this theme, I'm just gonna be giving it a 6.5 out of 10. Next up, we have Hidden Side, and not gonna lie, the first wave of Hidden Side was really, really good. Some of these sets are genuinely so fantastic. I can definitely see that LEGO leaned into like the spooky and ghostly vibe that the Hidden Side show was going for, and that really benefited and made some of these sets absolute bangers. However, the real problem for Hidden Side comes when we go to Wave 2, which basically introduced nothing new. We got the same characters, the same types of build. Not saying that getting the same types of builds is a bad thing. I mean, we get plenty of dragons and mechs for Ninjago, but each of these new dragons and mechs brings something new to the table. Instead, Hidden Side just chose to go with the same things again and again and again. And understandably, that's why a lot of fans lost interest with the show, because there's literally no reason to buy more than like 2 or 3 sets. So yeah, overall the first wave of Hidden Side was really really good, but after that they kind of lost the creativity and instead chose to go with the same things again and again and again. And honestly, that really makes Hidden Side kind of suck for me. So I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 as well. So these are my final scores for each of these three themes. To me, it's clear that Chima definitely wins this competition just because it was the most new, creative, and original theme out of these three themes. That being said, it was fun to take this trip down memory lane and see what all good things the other two themes did as well. But then again, that's just my opinion. Let me know down in the comments below which of these three themes you enjoy, and make sure to subscribe.